Now let us look into the internal structure of the embryo sac. Internal structure of embryo sac. So yesterday we were discussing about the 8 nucleate embryo sac, right? So how those 8 nuclei are organized inside. So how those 8 nucleate will be organized in the in a particular pattern. I said so. It was they have the specific pattern. They will organize themselves inside it, right? So they have been organized in the fashion. So we have an arrangement. So these 8 nuclei cells were arranged in a fashion. That is how these 8 nuclei were arranged inside it. It is the so we have an arrangement called as first one is the egg apparatus. Second is the antipodals. Third is the central cell. So these are the arrangement how this 8 nucleated cell will be arranged inside the embryo sac. So now you may wonder that how these arrangements are done. So you will wonder how this egg apparatus antipodals are being organized, right? So just I'm just drawing one diagram here. Just look at it. So this is the embryo sac that we are discussed. So that is 8 nucleated embryo sacs which are organized inside, right? So with a specific pattern. You can see here the 3 cells will be arranged in a particular pattern, right? So we will see one by one. So these 2 nucleated are called as central cells. So these 2 nucleated are called as central cells which are present in the central region. They form a central cells. So there are 3 nucleus at one end. You can see there are 3 nucleus in the one end, and here also there are 3 nucleus in the another end. So these are called as antipodals. These 3 nuclei are called as antipodals. And these 3 are called as egg apparatus. Understood? So you can see what are these 3 nuclei? These 3 nuclei called as antipodals. So these 3 nuclei which are called as egg apparatus. So here, in which end of this you can see here which one is the one, which one end is the egg apparatus and antipodals are located. You got to know that these antipodals are located at the one end and the egg apparatus are located in the another end. So you can see here these antipodal ends are arranged in the chalazal, at the chalazal end, and these egg apparatus are arranged in the micropyle end. So at which end of these antipodals and the egg apparatus are there? So you can see here these antipodals are present in the chalazal end and the egg apparatus are the micropyle end. So I'm just telling this in order to know that which side is the egg apparatus and the antipodals are present. Understood? And what is this egg apparatus? So what is this egg apparatus? So what are the egg apparatus are made up of? These egg apparatus are made up of 3 cells. These are made up of 3 cells. One cell is the egg cell and another 2 is the synergids. Another 2 is the synergids. So this is the center one is the egg cell. These other 2 on the either side of the egg cell, they are called synergids. Understood? So this is called synergids. So one is the egg cell and the other 2 are the synergids. The central region. So the central one is the egg cell and the other 2 are the synergids. And now what are these synergids? So what are these synergids? What is their function? What they will do? So these are the steroid cells which are present either side of the egg cells. You can see these egg cells. So this is the central egg cell which is the synergids are present on the either side of the egg cells. So what will happen here? These synergids do not play and they won't play and they won't help in the process of fertilization. That means the synergid do not play and direct role in the process of fertilization. That means they won't directly involved in the process of fertilization. So they will degenerate it after the pollination had taken place. So once the pollination had taken place, these synergids will be degenerated. So however, they make a special thickening at the micropyle end. So you can see here, so there will be a thickening here. So that thickening is called as piliform. So they form a, at the micropylar end they will form a thickening, and these 2 synergids, what will you can see here at the tip of this thing there will be a thickening. Look at that, these 2 synergids, you can see these 2 synergids towards the micropylar end they have a special thickening. So these 2 synergids, as I am telling, these 2 synergids have a special thickening at the micropyle end. At the micropyle end they have a special thickening which helps in the pollen tube to enter into the synergids. So these pollen tube, by this pollen tube, that synergid helps the pollen tube to enter, to carry out the pollen grains. Understood? So now there will be a pollen tube which will carry the pollen grains. From this pollen tube the pollen grains has been entered, and the pollen tube will enter through these thickenings. So these thickenings they will enter the synergids. So in a way these synergids helps the pollen tube to get enter into it. So this is the way how the pollen tube it will be entered into inside it. So through the synergids the pollen tube will carry the pollen grain. Through these thickenings they will enter the synergids. So that is how the female gametophyte are able to reach the that is why how the male gametophyte they will reach the female gametes. And which is the female gamete here? So the egg cell. The egg cell is nothing but the female gamete. So these egg apparatus are located towards the micropyle end. So these egg apparatus are present towards the micropylar end. So as I mentioned this is the micropylar end. And the next set of the cells are the antipodals. Next set of the cells is the antipodals. They are the 3 cells. Even these also have a 3 cells which are located at the basal end of the ovule. You can see the chalazal, and it is, as I have earlier told, the chalazal is the basal end of the ovule. So these 3 cells are present at the basal end. That is nothing but the chalazal end. So the basal end is the chalazal end. So this is the basal end, and they have a, so you can see they have a 3 cells. So these 3 cells are nothing but the antipodals. So these 3 cells also degenerated. They also involved, these 3 cells are directly involved, play a role in the process of fertilization. And what about the central cells? You can see what about this central cell. So it was a 2 polar nuclei. So these 2 central cells are the polar nuclei. Here you see that, so you can see that these 2 polar nuclei, and these 2 polar nuclei are also act as a female gamete. So these 2 polar nuclei will act as a female gamete. It acts as also a female gamete and also participate in the process of fertilization. So when the process of fusion takes place, so when the fusion takes place, there will be a 2 male gamete coming in through. So the 2 male gamete coming through the pollen tube. So they will enter the thickening called as synergids. So one male gamete will fuse with the one egg cell, right? So one male gamete will fuse with the 2 polar nuclei. So these 2 polar nuclei is fused with the another male gamete. One male gamete is fused with the egg cell and another female gamete will be fused with the 2 polar nuclei. And this is why in the angiosperms, as well as I was telling in the difference between the ovules in the angiosperm and the gymnosperms, we are discussing about the double fertilization. So that is why in angiosperm the process of fusion is called as double fertilization. So that because 2 fusion will be taken place. That is the one between the egg cell and the one male gamete, and another one is the one between the 2 polar nuclei and the another male gamete. So that is why the angiosperms are involved in the double fertilization. So other than these polar nuclei, the egg cell, so this other than this polar nuclei, this egg cell what will happen here? So rest of all of the 5, so except this egg cell, all these 5 what will happen? So they are degenerated. So here the synergids also degenerated. So except this egg cell, these 5 cells also degenerated. So that is the antipodal and the synergids, they will degenerated. So these about the external structure of these are the external structure, that the internal structure of the embryo sac. So I hope you are able to understand, right? So they are made up of the internal structure of embryo sac. As we have discussed about that, they have a 8 nucleated embryo, right? Embryo sac, embryo. So these 8 nucleated embryo are arranged in a specific pattern. So that arrangements are called as, arrangement are made up of by the egg apparatus, antipodals and the central cells. So what do you mean by egg apparatus? Egg apparatus have 3 cells. So one is at the center, they called as egg cells, and either side of the egg cell there is a presence of the synergids. So what do you mean by synergids? How the process will be helped? So these synergids, they do not play in a direct process of fertilization, but they will help in the to carry the pollen grain by the pollen tube. The pollen tube will carry the pollen grain. Through this thickening of the synergid, it will enter to the egg cells. Understood? So this is about that thing. So next is the egg apparatus. On either side of that end of the chalazal, that chalazal is the basal part of the ovule. So where they have 3 cells, that is called as antipodals. So these antipodals have 3 cells. So these also after some time they will also degenerate. So next is the central cells. So the central cell which has 2 polar nuclei. So these 2 polar nuclei, which is also called as female gamete. So what will happen? So when the fusion will be going to take place, so they will also bring a 2 male gamete. So the one of the male gamete will be fused with the egg cell and other one will be fused with the 2 polar nuclei. And then after that what will happen? The process of fertilization will be takes place. After some time, what they will do? These antipodals and the synergists, these 5 nucleus will be degenerated. So this is about the internal structure of the embryo sac. Now we will discuss about, so now after when it is matured, how it will be look like? It is just like this. So you can see in your diagram in the notes, I have given the clear description of the diagram, right? So make sure of the diagram. So there is a piliform, there is a thickening called as piliform thickening, where it helps to enter the pollen tube, where the pollen tube will carry the pollen grains. Understood? This is the antipodals. So this is the central cell. Understood? This is the mature embryo sac. Now let us look into the difference between the megasporogenesis and the microsporogenesis. Make sure that this is a megasporogenesis and this is the microsporogenesis. So what do you mean by microsporogenesis? Is nothing but the formation of microspores from microspore mother cells. So there will be a formation of microspores from the microspore mother cells, whereas megasporogenesis is nothing but the formation of megaspores. Here the microspores will be formed. Here megaspores are formed. From where it is formed? From the mother cell. That is microspore mother cell. Here that is megaspore mother cell. So here this microsporogenesis, which will occur in the anther. Right? It will occur, the male gametophyte. It will occur in the anther, whereas it will occur in the ovule. It will occur in the ovule. Here you can see there are many microsporogenesis. That is, the many microspore mother cells are differentiated. So here so many microspore mother cells will be differentiated. Here only one megaspore mother cell will be differentiated. I was telling while explaining the megasporogenesis, from only one megasporogenesis, the mother cell, the megasporo mother cell will be differentiated. Here, so from the many microspore mother cells, it will be differentiated. Here it is only one. Here it is many. It is only one. So here they have all the 4 cells of the microspores tetrad are functional. So here you can see whatever the end result, that is 4 microspore tetrad are all in the functional state. 4. Here what will happen? Only one megaspore mother cell become a functional. Even here also the megasporogenesis, they will form a result of 4, but the 3 will be degenerated and the 1 will be the only one megaspore will be the functional. Understood? So this is the difference between the microsporogenesis and the megasporogenesis. Next class we will discuss about the pollination and the types and how the process will be occur, and the modifications and also the advantages and the disadvantage of the pollination and their different types. That this is very much important. They may ask for the 3 marks. This is important. What is the difference between microsporogenesis and the megasporogenesis? And the structure of the anther and the structure of the ovule. The diagrams are very much important, and the description may ask for the 5 marks. So the megasporogenesis, the formation of embryo sac. So they may ask for the 5 marks. So make sure that with that, and you prepare yourself for the exams while reading. Understood? Thank you.